Okay, hopefully you can all see that. So welcome to the Woking College Vocational Business Taster lesson. Today we're going to be studying something called variance analysis, which may sound a little intimidating, but don't worry, I'm sure you can all cope. Right, we're going to start by going shopping. Let's pretend we're all off to make lunch and you have to go to the supermarket and buy the ingredients for cheese and salad sandwiches. I want you to draw me a box with 2 columns and 4 rows and fill it out as follows. The loaf of bread, a pack of cheese, a pack of salad, and then in the second column, your guess in pounds and pence how much it would cost to buy each of these at Asda. Pause these and have a go now. Right, hopefully you've completed that. So let's look at the real costs. How close were your guesses? Were you above or were you below? Write me another table. This time I want 5 rows and 4 columns. The items of shopping again, your guess in pounds, the actual price, and write down whether you're above or below. Then add up all the figures and give me a total. Was your total above or below? Did you guess the correct amount to take to Asda? Did you take too much money? Did you take too little? If you've done that, congratulations. You've just completed your first variance analysis. So take a pause, write all that down, and make sure that you've got all the figures correct. So here are our objectives for the day: to understand what a variance is, and hopefully you're starting to get a very big clue on that now, and to be able to calculate one for 3 different budgets: one for income, one for expenditure, and one for profits. So first of all, to do variance analysis, we need to know what a budget is. And a budget is quite simply a financial plan. It sets a series of policies that businesses will follow and also checks if the business is on track and is making the money that they expect it to. Now, jot down your definition of a budget. You can use my words or put it in your own, but pause again. So we're going to look at something called variance analysis. This is the process by where we can compare what happened in the real world with what happened in our plans beforehand. That means we can find out why there are differences. The variance is just a fancy word for difference. So a favourable variance is if your costs are lower or your income's higher than you thought. Unfavourable is the exact opposite, and we call it adverse, which is just another word for unfavourable. It's when your costs are too high or your income's too low. So there's a very simple formula for calculating variance. It's your budget compared to your actual figure. So what did you think you'd spend or earn or make, and what happened in the real world? Then we use these 2 bits of terminology. If the variance is favourable, we put an F or an FAV, and if it's the opposite, forgive me, if it's adverse, then we put an A or an ADV. Jot those points down again and pause. When you're ready to move on, restart. So I'm just going to say this again. I've said it before, but it's the really key crux of the whole calculation here. A favourable variance happens when your income is more than you thought it would be, or your costs are lower. Adverse is the opposite. It's when you earn less than you thought, or you spend more. Again, jot those notes down, pause the slides, and then get ready to move on. So here's how we calculate variance. There's a golden rule to tell if it's adverse or favourable, and it's the impact on profit. A favourable variance will always see profit go up, and an adverse variance will always see profit go down or be less than you expected, but be less than you had hoped for. Sorry, I slipped too quick there. Pause that, make those notes, and when you've written them down, move on from your pause. So we're now going to go through 3 example analyses. We're not going to use a worksheet. I think you should all keep them in the same notes. You've got everything in one place. So you are going to be drawing some boxes. Right, let's get started. I want you to copy out this table, which has 1, 2, 3, 4 rows and 5 columns, and write this out in full. So pause the slides now and restart once you've filled out this table and copied it as it is on the screen. Okay, let's move on. So what we've got here are this Toasties sandwich shop, and it has 2 sources of income. Product A, let's say cheese and ham. Maybe product B is a vegetarian option, and then you add A to B, which gives you the total. So for product A, we had hoped to earn £7,500 worth from these sandwiches. We actually earned 7,600. In the next column, we write the variance, which is 100. And I need you to tell me, is it F or is it A? Is it favourable or adverse? Is it better that we earn £100 more than we thought we would? Then we do the same for product B. We thought we'd earn £6,000 worth of money from our sandwiches. We actually only got 5,700. The variance here is 300, larger sum. You need to tell me, is it F or A? Is it a good or a bad thing that we earned less than we had expected? Then we look at the total income. We basically add these totals up. So the first total is 13,500. The second is 13,300. There's a variance of 200. You tell me, is it good if the total income was higher or lower than we expected? It's lower here, so tell me if that's an F or an A. Pause, have a guess, then when you're ready to restart, restart. So the answer should be FAA. Product A sold more than we expected, that's favourable. Product B sold less, that's adverse. And product B poor performance was so poor, it dragged the whole income down, so we have an adverse total income. Right, I'm going to go into another budget, so get ready to scribble out a table and pause. Right, this time we're looking at expenditure. The previous one was what we were earning, this is what we're spending. This time I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Once again, the 5 columns. Please pause the slides and fill out all these figures, but leave the F and the A blank for now. Okay, let's have a look at the expenditure budget. We thought we'd spend £2,700 on raw materials. I would imagine that's cheese and bread and ham for a toasted sandwich shop. But we actually spend £2,500. So the variance is the difference between the two. It's 200. Tell me, is it favourable or adverse to have spent less than we had thought? Then we looked at our labour costs, salaries. We thought we'd spend 2,400. We actually spent 2,450. So that's a variance of 50. Is it favourable or adverse to have spent more than we planned? Our admin and our other costs were exactly as we forecast they were. Maybe it was rent for the shop, which is the same every month or every year. Tell me if that's favourable or adverse. Then we add those 3 things together. So in budget, that's 27, 24 and 45, which gives us 9,600. Then we add up the actuals. We look at the variances, and the variance is 150. So I need you to now pause, make sure you've got that table completed, then have a go. Tell me if it's favourable or adverse. Is it favourable that our raw materials costs was lower than we thought it would be? Is it favourable or adverse that we spent more on labour than we thought? Go all the way down, pause, have a go, and when you're ready to restart, have a look at the answers. Here are the answers, FA-F. So spending less than we thought is a good thing, it's favourable for raw materials. Spending more on labour costs is adverse, we don't want to spend more on our costs. Our admin costs were bang on, so we've just put a dash there, it's neither F nor A. And then our total expenditure was actually £150 less than we had thought it would be. So that is favourable. We've spent less than we thought we would. A good thing. Now move on to the profit budget. I want you to pause, and after you've written out this table again, 4 columns this time, 5 columns, sorry, again, and 4 rows. So pause and restart once you've filled out those numbers. Now that you've done that, tell me if it's an F or an A. Total income, it's £200 less than we thought it would be. Is that F or A? Expenditure, £150 less than we thought it would be. Is that F or A? Profit, £50 less than we thought it would be. Give me an F or an A. So pause and have a good guess and restart when you're ready. AFF. So we earned less than we thought we would, but we spent less than we thought we would. And the net effect is we made slightly less profit than we had hoped. So AFA. Right, pause and get ready to move on to the next challenge, which is the toughest one. Okay, this really is the stretch and challenge task. Go back to your 3 budgets and look at 2 factors inside your business that could have led to changes in your income budget. Look at those changes. What could have caused an increase or a decrease in sales? Then look at 1 factor outside the business that could have led to these variances. Then look at 2 factors inside the business that could have impacted your expenditure, any 2, and then give me any factor from outside the business that might have influenced this expenditure. And this is the ultimate stretch and challenge. What 2 things might you do as a result when you look at this variance analysis? Pause now, make sure you've jotted that down, have a go at some answers, and then see some of my views. Okay, let's restart for the final slide, pretty much the final slide. So, how might we answer these questions? So, product A sold better than we planned. Maybe we had a really good marketing campaign for it. Maybe we had really interesting posters. Maybe we gave away lots of free samples and it made people come buy it. Why did product B sell poorly? Maybe it's not very nice. Maybe it's a bad recipe. Maybe we need to change the recipe. It just might not be very good. An example, those are both things inside the business that have helped, that have impacted our sales. What could have happened outside of it? Maybe that product B, maybe people posted lots of nasty social media comments saying how horrid it was and that decreased sales. 1C, have we become more efficient at making things? Maybe we've got lower wastage. Maybe we throw away less bread and cheese at the end of every day. Those labour costs, maybe someone was given a pay rise, maybe they worked overtime. Outside the business, what could have happened? Maybe prices went up. There was a shortage of cheese or bread or whatever, or suppliers just increased their what they charged us. So what can we do about any of these things? Maybe we need new quality assurance, certainly for product B. Maybe we need a better chef. Or maybe we need to look at a new supplier who can supply us good quality ingredients at a lower cost. Those aren't all of the answers, but hopefully you could come up with other compelling ones. I hope that's given you a really good insight into how we teach business at Working College, and I hope you found it interesting. Good luck.